Most new and aspiring entrepreneurs don't know if what they're creating is any good, if there's even a need. Today, we're going to talk about how you can figure that out. Welcome to the conversation. I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Aymanie.
We're so glad you're here. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to get your weekly dose of our conversations and our tips. Speaking about not knowing whether someone would want what I have, I remember when I first started out in business, it was the perfume oil business. And of course, I love fragrances, but I didn't really know if what I liked other people would like. So I had to figure out ways to figure it out. How
That's
about you? What
real.
was it like for you when you first started? Yeah.
Yeah, when I first started, I think that my first business, if I'm not mistaken, it was truly me offering hair services. So with something like that, I kind of stumbled into the business. So I don't think that would be the best business to answer this question regarding. I will say when it came to the locking, the tool that I knew I liked the tool. I didn't know how others were going to respond because it was something new in the industry in terms of the material and the weight and things of that nature. So, to that
Yeah.
business, absolutely.
Yeah, it's so true. I think what you learned or what I learned in the very first business, you kind of apply to other businesses in terms of figuring out if what you have works, doesn't work, if it needs to be tweaked. So it's definitely valuable to like take everything from each iteration of business and industries that you're in to arrive to the place where you can say, I know how to make this happen.
Oh, yeah, and that's real, right? Because as we have different experiences, as we introduce new products, services, we are gaining different type of experiences and we start to accumulate things, right? Along the way, we know what worked, what didn't work, and we, of course, as you're saying, we apply that to the next business because that's the value in us having these experiences that we are able to take what we learned and apply them. So I think that's key. That's key.
Because I found in the beginning when I was in the perfume oils, like I said, I knew what I liked, but I didn't know what anyone else liked. So at that time, that was when eBay. I mean, eBay is still around, but it was a bigger thing then, and a lot of like beauty and makeup forums. So I would do a lot of data collection. What were the people looking for? What were they searching for? And that's kind of
Mm.
what guided me in choosing what my inventory looked like, so that not only did I offer what I liked to people, I
Yes.
was offering what was resonating with other people at that time. So the
Yes.
first part for me was just getting the necessary data to know, is there a market for it? Is there a need for it or a desire for it? And what do they want? So that
Yeah,
was
yeah.
kind of what I did in the first. Yeah.
I think doing that is something that is definitely valuable, especially if a person is introducing a new product. Actually, it doesn't matter, right? Product or service to the
Mm.
market. Really, what are people gravitating for? What kind of searches are they doing? What are they looking for? Because that is going to make it such that you have a easier journey, I think, a little easier journey entering the market because there is a need that exists already. I know for me, as well as I'm reflecting back on my businesses that I've had, there were times that I was collecting data as well that helped to inform how I should navigate, even current day. When it comes to, the interlocks business, I'm constantly looking at what kind of pain points people are mentioning.
But to your point, it's kind of like even say in health coaching or any other industry,
Yes.
like I know what I believe the pain points to be, but if you are looking at questions that people are asking, whether it's
Yes.
social media, conversations that you hear, you're getting a
Yes.
sense of what the population is in need of or what's lacking. And so that
Yes.
also helps you shape some of the products, so the basics are there because you know what you want to deliver to someone, but you're able to pull
Mm.
from real world. So
And that
yeah.
that's real. Being in different, online groups for your industry, it's funny because that's where my tool development, in hindsight, like now I'm thinking it through, right? There was a lot of conversations that were happening around different tools that are currently out on that were on the market, and some of the pain points is falling, is too thick, and I actually was collecting that data and I was using that to help me to kind of cultivate the idea that I had when it came to this new tool. So it's like that, I feel as though is like a beautiful place to start being in different groups where you can kind of hear what are some of the conversations that are being had, especially about a product that you're looking to introduce to the market.
For sure. And then with all of that too, I think that after we gather that information, then it's like you're able to create the first iteration of the service or product or whatever it is and test it with certain people, not necessarily the public yet, but those network of people that you say, okay, test this out, give me your feedback so that you
Exactly.
can go ahead and refine it before it goes public. So I love that phase as well, like the alpha testing. I think that's a great phase
Oh
too.
yeah, I agree. I agree. Did you
Mhm.
have that experience with your any of your businesses? Did you have a period where you were doing some of the alpha testing?
I have, and actually you have been a part of them many times.
This is true.
You
I
know,
opened it up for you
well,
so you could walk right in that door.
right. But I have done that. You've always been
Yes.
included in it, but when I go back into my emails, I can see the messages to you to say, "Hey, can you test this out for me? Let me know
Yes.
your thoughts on this. What's your feedback? Does this make sense to you?" So all of that right there. So I'm collecting additional data, but I'm choosing the people that I think would be a good fit for that
Yes.
service or whatever, and getting like your feedback for sure to say, "Okay, Omni,
Mhm.
does this read right? Does this make sense?" And then that
Yes.
helps me, make the adjustment to say, okay, well, this
Absolutely.
made sense to me, but you're the user, and someone
Exactly.
like you would be the user. So if it's not resonating with you, then it's not, it needs to be
Exactly.
adjusted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes we're
How
too
about you?
close. I was gonna say
Oh,
sometimes we're
sorry.
just too. I mean, I was gonna say sometimes we're just too close. It's like it's our baby, our emotions are in it. We're like we see it
Mm,
happening one way, so it's like clearly everyone else is gonna benefit from this because it's like the perfect idea, but it may not necessarily be. And for me, I definitely went through that phase when it came to the tool is just a great example for me as we're having this conversation because I was very intentional about going through these different steps, right? When my very
mm,
first business, I did not have intention behind it. Not a lot of times because I was in the motions. I was going through, the process. But with this business, I was more intentional and I went through the phase of having, a handful of people try out the tool before I introduced it to the public. So it was very helpful and
mhm.
um I was able to do a lot with that data, honestly, in terms of the marketing,
Yeah.
enhancements. Yeah.
I mean, even though I'm not your ideal market for your product, being a client of yours, I saw it in the prototype phase. So
Yes.
even seeing it at that time, you're getting some other person's view. So all views and all input is valuable. So yeah, I mean, I've seen that happen, and it was in motion. I saw it happening
Yes.
behind the scene, you know?
Exactly, exactly. And you too are a
Yeah.
part of the testing as well. Okay, what does this look like? How does it read? This is the goal. What you see, does it seem like there's an alignment? So it's definitely incorporating different people, not just necessarily the end user, right? I think the end user is really important because they are ideally going to be the individuals that are going to consume or use that product. But thinking a little bit more broadly, right? Tapping
Mm-hmm.
into people who have specialties in different areas that you could, lean onto. Like for me, coming to is like, okay, the copy, right? I need to convey, a certain message, right? How does
Mm-hmm.
this look? You see the vision. Is it a complete package? But leaning into someone who is not necessarily the end user could be of value.
For sure, for sure. But then I find like after, we've done this whole phase of data collection and the alpha test and getting the feedback and, adjusting products and services, then you have the beta test, which is actually to the user you intended to be for, which is another set of data points you're getting. So I know for you, that was probably very, very relevant when you had your tool. So what was your beta testing phase like? Was it helpful?
It was. It's like,
You're like,
here's
haha.
the tool, use the tool. So yes, it was
Mm-hmm.
it was in my case because I had a product, it was essentially getting the tool in the hands of the consumer, right? My ideal
Yeah.
client and having them just really assess it and giving their honest feedback. And that was very much a part of the phase and I learned a lot going through that process. Going into it, I had my concerns about some of the mechanics of the tool, more so like the weight being too heavy, right? Because
Mhm.
in the market there are people were using a tool that was much lighter, it was plastic, but then we came out with a stainless steel tool. And so there was a difference in the weight. And so for me, I'm thinking, oh, what is it going to be like for someone who's suffering from carpal tunnel? And it turns out the second person who was the tester, she actually had wrist, issues with her wrist where she was wearing she was wearing the braces for her wrists. Is it considered to be
Mm-hmm.
braces? I think it's braces. Is it
So
braces?
like a supporter, yeah,
Life
brace for
support
carpal
brace,
tunnel.
carpal
Yeah.
tunnel on both of her
Mhm.
arms. And so I immediately was like extremely nervous. Though I should have been seeking out individuals like that to test it. It turned
Mm.
out that I did not seek it out, but that is, that was my experience of.
Someone who, because of the design of your product, someone who had carpal tunnel would have been the best
Yes, yes,
client to be
correct.
a part of the beta testing because she or he would give you
Yes,
the feedback that you needed to know
exactly.
that whether or
Exactly.
not the tool as it was designed was
Yes,
giving the result you intended because your tool was created with intention just in different ways. So I
yes,
think so that's the clarity of knowing for any person, you, me, any entrepreneur
yes,
out there, knowing who the avatar is for sure, which we'll definitely go over at some point in the very near future, but also, um, in that beta test, getting the feedback in that
yes.
phase to even make some more changes as needed, or to find out if all of the research up until that point has actually led you to the product service that helps your avatar.
So there was a lot of
Yeah.
value in the whole beta testing. I say don't skip that phase because you kind of want to know in advance how people are going to respond to before you invest a whole lot of time, capital and things of that nature. So,
Yeah. So
mhm.
luckily, inside of our Patreon, so we're talking to you, new and aspiring entrepreneur, or any entrepreneur actually. We're going to have some more information about these types of tests and data collection because it's so valuable to have. So be sure to come over to Patreon to get those lessons so that you can take your creation, your idea, and get it to the people it's supposed to be for.
Yes, yes, yes. I love it. I love it.
So, Amini,
Yes.
it is check-in time. Wellness check in. Last time, our last episode, you got your phone, tapped into Siri, and said, Siri, book that sleep study or, appointment.
Hmm.
How'd that go? She's like, mm-hmm. She's like, I did. Yes, you
I
are
did
correct.
in my mind.
Next time.
Yeah, so I have to reset. I had to reset, yes. I have to reset with the whole, technology issues I've been having lately. It's been a struggle, but I'm glad that you brought that up because guess what I'm going to do tonight? Guess what I'm going
Nice.
to do tonight? I'm going to activate that.
Yeah. But that's so fair though. I mean, that's
It's
like such a real
real.
thing.
It's
You and
real.
I know that, I've had car issues, so stuff happens that gets in the way of your plans. So you definitely have to reset as needed to get
Absolutely.
back to whatever the plan was. And so I think what I had said last time is that I was going to set up my study area
Exactly.
for the language learning, I think it was, and then my bass guitar practice and things like that. So it was only today, literally today, that I did that, and that was a 2 weeks, 1 week ago, whenever it was. So it's very real. So
It's
I don't
real.
want anyone thinking that because there's a wellness check-in, you don't hit the mark, that it's not a success. It's like it's great knowing that hey, I didn't hit the mark. I am resetting and
Exactly.
creating a new
Mhm.
a new path.
Listen, it's
Yeah,
relatable because this is real life. And
it's so real.
it's so interesting. It seems like there were a lot of people having things going on the same time. It didn't feel like
Hmm.
isolated. I feel like you had your situation. I had my three phones in a 2 week period situation. Then there were other people who were like having their own struggles. I was like, is it like a retrograde? Is it like a new moon? What is going on? But this is
Something is
real.
going
This is
on
real. And we just kind of like reset.
for sure. I think I shared with you too. I think it was about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks or so, and in that time, it made me think about okay, I'm being slowed down for a reason. what is the lesson in this?
Yes.
What am I supposed to be seeing, supposed to be doing? How do I restructure it? Because I always see it as, you're never happy that it's happening, but there's
No.
got to be something in that circumstance. So that's
Hmm.
my biggest takeaway when the whole wellness side and just the kind
Oh,
of
yes.
getting things back together. There's a lesson in everything.
In
So
everything. And I think it's
in
real for
everything,
both of us. I think it was like, slow down. What? I don't have access to a
100%.
phone for days. I'm forced to slow
Yep.
down. So it's quite interesting. But we just embrace
Sure
that,
enough.
right? We embrace every part of the journey because if we do not, we are going to miss out on so much. There's so much value in the dips and the ups and the downs and
Yeah.
all of that in between. I'm like, no, just be present and really try to look for those lessons.
Yeah. And in those moments too, I find it brings me back at least to those very, very early stages of entrepreneurship where you're just creating and you're really creative with how you approach something. So it's like, how can I continue to live life, run business, do these different things and not have the tools that I'm accustomed to having? So you
Yes.
get creative and kind of prioritize what is truly most important in that moment to make it happen. So it is a
It's a
real
journey.
life, real talk.
Yeah, it is. It is a
Yeah.
journey. It's a journey that
Yeah.
continues to unfold before our eyes. So let's
Hmm.
lock in. Lock
Lock
in.
in.
Lock in.
Yeah, so the whole wellness thing, having to re-strategize and all that kind of stuff, it really helped me personally, but also in business because I had to figure out, well, how am I going to go ahead and get business things done? So um, the success for me this week, when I think about business, is that as I did last week, I think I shared, is that I was able to get even more organized. So I'm getting a lot of my business consulting um, workflows together so that I can offer that service. And the interview that I talked about, I'm in the process of scheduling that like literally today. So that'll be happening the next couple of weeks.
I love it. I love it.
Like these fingers here. So yeah,
Oh.
so kind of the same, but just because of the whole car situation, not having it, having to rethink how I approached each day, I've just gotten more focused in the things that are most important. And
Mhm.
yeah, kind of taking the things that were coming up and preparing for them so I can be my,
Oh,
my best self in those moments.
yes.
So yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's a win for sure. Definitely. I love
that's a
it.
win.
Love
That's
it.
a win.
It is a major win. I mean, just being able to kind of get organized in itself, it kind of lightens the load, right? It's like
Yeah.
you're able to move with more intention. So I love that. So that's going to be something that I'm working on, continuously putting energy into, just organizing things, and keeping them like that.
Hmm.
So, but I would say my
Yeah.
biggest win for the week. So I went to Texas. I was there for a business trip. And one of my new partners, a part of this collaboration, invited me there where I am very much a part of her course that she offers. It's a Lock Foundation course. So I was able to work with her students and that was really really exciting. And I would say another win is that my 5 week speed program that's actually in motion, you're starting to see those light bulbs go off for the different locticians. So that is definitely a win that they're getting the concept, like they're getting the technique, and they're starting to shape off time. So for me, that's a huge win.
That's cool because I think last episode or episode before that, you mentioned how you were launching 17, 18, 19, whatever it was. So
Yes.
clearly, even in the results you're just talking about from that um, 5 week course, you've been able to refine it over the different cohorts to
Oh
know exactly
yes.
what works best for the demographic. So, in motion with that course, you're seeing the results because you've been able to gather the data points,
And
and the information
look
from
at that.
people.
That's it. I mean, if we're just
Yeah.
thinking about what we've talked about during this episode, all of those things, right? It's happening real time for me. So
Yeah.
every time I teach a class, there is something I gain from it, and then I go ahead and I make a tweak. Just last night, I'm looking at the homework that was submitted, and I'm like, I'm noticing a trend. They all are doing something that I did not anticipate. Now let's address
Yeah.
that by incorporating another technique into the system. So I'm like, I'm doing it real time, live. So I think that's going
Yeah,
to be really helpful for anyone, especially if they have a service. It's like you never like think about it. You never stop collecting data. Never,
you never do.
never.
I mean, even in the days of me teaching Zumba, it's the same thing. I can choreograph something, teach it. So either I'm learning about the abilities of the people in class in real time and I'm modifying at the same time, or I'm so that's one piece of data that I'm getting in real time. Also, you get honest feedback. I don't like that. I don't like that song. I don't like that move. And then it makes me
Absolutely.
as the instructor refine my cueing or how I
Yes.
teach it. So you're always learning, always collecting data, always tweaking how you provide some service or product.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I love it. I
love
love
it.
it.
Well, wearing black shirts, loving at the same time. We are 100%
In sync.
winning.
we
In
are
sync.
we are definitely in sync, I have to say. It's like we showed up like, wait a minute. I'm like, Cheryl, do you see?
Hmm.
We were at the same
Right.
time.
Hmm. Right. I almost, yeah, I have hoops on. You don't have hoops, but still
Yeah,
like gold
look at that.
tone and
Yes, yes. Like seriously, there's something here. There's something here. I love it.
it's the harmony.
It is. It is the harmony of it all. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. We will see you next week. Again, come over to Patreon where we have some additional information about the points that we talked about today, about testing your product, your service. The link will be in the description of this video. And we'll see you next week.
We'll see you soon.